In college, I learned about mass communication, where the role of a leader is very important. Thus, it is divided into few leadership styles. And it gave me a vision of the society nowadays. That we often explain leadership by categorizing it into styles. Some leaders are autocratic, some democratic, and others adopt a more hands-off approach, or let's say is fair. Some lead through structures and rewards, others through vision and inspiration. But here's the uncomfy truth, that none of these styles guarantee an effective leadership. Greetings everyone, I'm Hanifa Sofia, a student of Universitas Indonesia. We have all seen leaders with authority who fail to lead and leaders without title who are deeply followed. This probably ring a bell in us, that this suggests that leadership effectiveness does not begin with how decisions are made, but with how leadership is experienced by the people that being led. So, instead of asking what type of leader someone is, more important question is, what makes people willing to follow a leader in the first place? What is the most important quality that every leader should have? Stoddard in 1950 described leadership as a process of influencing activities of an organized group toward a goal setting and goal achievement. This definition was very crucial because it shifted leadership away from being seen as a fixed individual trait and reframed it as a process that involving other people. And leadership in this sense only exists when influence occurs, though not all scholars agree with this framing. For instance, Kellerman. He argued that leadership can also involve the use of force. However, even this disagreement reinforces a key point, that leadership is fundamentally about how power and influence are exercised over others, not merely about personal characteristics or formal positions. So, ladies and gentlemen, if leadership is a process of influence, then the quality of that influence becomes central. Research on effective team leadership shows that influence works best when it is grounded in relationships rather than just authority alone, specifically trust and trustworthiness. Leaders must communicate clearly, act fairly, and show consistency between their words and their actions. These qualities is very important because these qualities determine whether influence is accepted or resisted, whether trust is engaged by the people that being led or not. Without this relational credibility, even clear goals and strong direction can feel imposed rather than shared. And leadership may still function on the surface, but it becomes fragile and dependent on control rather than commitment eventually. Another point is that effectiveness is not measured solely by outcomes, but by how those outcomes are achieved. Effective leaders organize tasks, delegate responsibilities, and support their team's development. They do not simply extract performance, they create conditions where people are able and willing to contribute. So in this sense, leadership is not only about reaching goals, but about sustaining the group's ability to function over time. Styles may differ, but leaders who neglect fairness, communication, and respect often achieve short-term results at the cost of long-term effectiveness. So, in a nutshell, when leadership is understood as a process of influence, the question is no longer who leads, but why others choose to follow. This is where trust becomes central. Trust determines whether influence is accepted willingly or imposed through control. It shapes how communication is interpreted, how authority is received, and whether goals are pursued with commitment or mere compliance. The most important quality in a leader, therefore, lies in the ability to build and sustain trust, because trust turns influence into cooperation, power into legitimacy, and most importantly, leadership into a shared effort toward a meaningful goals. Thank you.